Before we begin, I want to remind everyone to please place your phones on silent. When asking a question, please remember to identify yourself with your name and media affiliation. This press conference will air live on the NCAA Volleyball Facebook Live and Periscope accounts. There is no recording or live streaming in this room. At this time, we welcome the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who advanced out of the Lexington Regional and come into the women's volleyball national semifinal matches with an overall record of 30-4 under the direction of head coach John Cook. Also joining us today are student athletes Kelly Hunter, Briana Holman, and Annika, Albrecht. We remind everyone that we will start with opening comments from Coach Cook, followed by questions for the student athletes. The student athletes will then be dismissed, and we will open for questions for Coach Cook. Coach, your thoughts on your matchup against Penn State?
Do you want me to do that or opening statement first?
Either one.
Okay. First of all, we're really excited to be here. The fact it's Kansas City, it's close to Nebraska, it's sold out. Great testament to the Husker Nation and how well volleyball is supported and in the Midwest. And it's awesome for our sport. I'm also very proud of these three players, along with Sydney Townsend, of first seniors ever at Nebraska to go to 3 straight Final Fours. So we got a lot to be happy about, and we're excited to play tomorrow. Our matchup with Penn State. Have you followed the history of us, Nebraska and Penn State? Mm-hmm. We've had a lot of epic matches. I've been having a lot of flashbacks to several years, 2008, 2011, last year. Of course, our match with them this year at Penn State. So it's one of the, I think, the most exciting rivalries, if you want to call it that, in college volleyball. And they're a lot of fun to play, and I think both teams bring out the best in each other. So it's exciting for volleyball, and everybody's been chasing Penn State with what they've done over the last 10 years, and they set a really high bar, so we're excited to play them.
Thank you, Coach. And as you ask your first question, as a reminder, please identify yourself and your media affiliation. Questions for the student athletes?
Jeff Sheldon with the Omaha World Herald. For Kelly and Briana, is there a specific thing that you guys feel like you have done well throughout these last couple years against Penn State, like a common thread that has allowed you to have such success against them?
I think just from like a setting standpoint, it's having a balanced attack, because they have a huge block, and when they're swing blocking and when they're in rhythm and they know where the ball's going, they're pretty hard to get by. So I think just kind of keeping a balanced attack and having middle, right side, everything going kind of keeps them on their toes and hopefully gets one-on-ones to open up our offense.
Kind of what she said, just our offense. We are really balanced, and we have a lot of weapons on front row and back row, and it's hard to defend teams like that, and I think that they have a hard time defending us sometimes. Because usually some of the teams that they play, they might have 1 or 2 good players, and like she said, when they know that, they're really good. But they really have to wait and read on us because we have so many offensive weapons.
Greg Eklund, and this is for Omaha Public Radio, and this is for Kelly. Kelly, Coach referred to Penn State as, in his words, a rivalry, if you want to call it that. What do you call it? And knowing your family history and the tradition that you know of Nebraska, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I think Coach nailed it. The last 10 years, they've been that team to beat, and it might not be exactly a Nebraska rivalry, or Nebraska-Penn State, but everyone wants to beat them. So they're just kind of that team you get really hyped up to play, especially this year. Only 1 loss all season. Everyone's hyped to play them. I just think ever since I've been here and I've been old enough to understand Nebraska volleyball, that's been a great match to watch. And I know my time here, we've had some great matches against them, and I think tomorrow will be another great matchup.
Kevin Suits, KOLN. Ani, if you go back to September 22nd when you guys played Penn State on the road, what worked so well for you guys to have so much success that night?
I think they kind of nailed it earlier, but something that our team does really well is we stick to what we train, and we always talk about serve and pass, and I think we did a really good job ball controlling them and starting them off out of system with our serve, and that really helped our block, and then everything kind of fell from there. And so I think just sticking to what we train and sticking to our game plan really helped us, and I didn't think they knew what to do.
Brett Edwards from Channel 8 in Lincoln. Kelly, what does it say about this team to have 4 All-Americans?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of what we've been talking about, and everyone's so great because there's teams whose outsides get 40, 50 swings a night or even more than that. So I think we just have all these great players who love working together, and no matter what, if someone's having a bad day, someone's always behind them, hyping them up, and we do that every single day at practice and in games. So we never let anyone kind of struggle or slack off or do anything, so everyone's playing their greatest volleyball every single day, and I guess that shows with the awards that we got, but we always say an individual award is a team award, so none of us could have got any awards if it weren't for the team and the B-side pushing us every single day, and we just have a great group of, I think, 14, 15 girls who work their butts off every single day.
Lee Feinswag from volleyballmag.com. Well, first thing, did any of the 3 of you read Coach Cook's book when it came out last summer?
I haven't got to it yet, but
He just gave us copies
yeah,
like
we just got it.
a month ago, so we've been a little busy.
Did you autograph him?
It was Thanksgiving.
Oops.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving. That
a
was-
month ago.
He did. He autographed it.
Kelly, when the team went to Florida the first weekend and you had to just watch, except for wishing that you were in there, what did you observe and think about the team at that time from maybe the coach in you, the setter in you, while you were watching it all unfold and thinking about when you got back in?
Yeah, there were a lot of close rallies and a lot of close games, and I mean, we went 5 with Florida, and we're pretty close to winning it. So I think the biggest thing that I learned and we all learned is that this is a team who can do great things, and we were just right on the edge right there. And the first game of the season, there's always nerves and stuff like that, especially playing such great teams. But I think that just showed us that if we worked hard every single day, that we could be a great team and make things happen this year. And I think with our motto of point by point and like day by day, we've just gotten better every single day. And Coach always says we should go from good to great to unstoppable, and I think we're definitely headed in that direction.
Ani, this is for you. What do you feel? We've talked before about the work that you put into transitioning to be a 6th rotation player, but now that we're at the end of the season, can you pinpoint the most important piece of work or type of work that you put in to grow into this type of player?
I think just having an open mindset into new things that we've been learning this year with the new coaching staff, and specifically what Tyler's been helping me with. And like, I've been playing volleyball for a long time, but then realizing that there's still more that I can learn, even though I'm a senior or whatever. But yeah, just keeping my options open and trusting what I can see when I'm up there.
Todd Hendricks from the Journal-Star. Ani, I'm going to take you back farther to your freshman year and ask you to look forward to today and what's happened this year and with this team. How did that vision match up with reality of where you're sitting today?
I don't know. One thing Coach always tells us is to dream big. And I think we say it all the time, and sometimes it's a joke, but I think that's real. And I think like with our class that came in and Kelly before us and the girls ever since, I think we've all come in and we really do dream big, and we dream of these big spotlight moments and the Final Four, and we dream of playing in the national championship game every year. And so we work hard for this, and we train in a championship environment. And so I think we made it reality the last few years. Even like freshman year, we did good things too. But yeah, to work hard and actually make this reality has been really awesome, because I think that we've all dreamt this.
Any last questions for the student athletes? Okay, thank you, Kelly, Briana, and Annika. You may head back to your locker room. As a reminder, the locker room is open now for additional interviews with student athletes not present on the dais. Take a left when you enter the hallway.
Am I still here? Oh, okay.
Still up here. Questions for Coach Cook?
John, again about Ani. I mean, how have you seen her grow the most this season?
I think she nailed her answer. The fact that she came into this year, she knew what the opportunity she had. She embraced it. She worked really hard starting in January, because we had this conversation in January. And she had a growth mindset. And I think she also nailed it when she talked about Tyler. Tyler brought some new things to how we train and how we play the game. And she was able to take some of that and really help her develop her. So I probably developed her. I mean, she's tired of listening to me, and now she had this whole new way of looking at the game and playing the game, and she's really benefited from that and embraced that. So, you know, and I was looking back at her stats. You know, she did not start off this season very strong, but she stayed with it, and I think that's a great testament to her. And again, she plays with a lot of confidence, and she's able to go on the next point. When you're that size, and you know that sometimes she's going to get trap set, and there's nothing she can do, and she just goes on to the next play, tries to make it up with a serve, a dig, a block, or something like that, and so she has a great mindset. It's a growth mindset, and it's go on to the next play mindset, and that's what allows her to be successful.
Going back to the first Penn State match this year, was it more important that that was your one chance to play Penn State and to beat Penn State, or was it more important for your team with where you were to that point in the season that you play that well and beat a quality opponent and gain confidence that you could do that?
Yeah, Todd, are they pulling you out of retirement? Okay, cool, love it. So you're off you don't have to pay your Social Security anymore? You're back on? Good. Yeah, some of these guys probably weren't even born yet. But going into that Penn State, we had lost in Northern Iowa the week before. So I'm like, the wheels have come off. You know, I hope we can even survive the Big Ten and get to the NCAA tournament. But like many years after sometimes after a loss, you learn a lot, and I think our team really learned a lot from that weekend. And we were able to go into Penn State and, you know, play great. And so that was a great bounce back by our team. And I think the fact that when we did that, it just reaffirmed everything we had been telling them, like, you know, we have a chance to be a good team, and we can do this. And we thought we could go in there and compete really well with Penn State. And of course, when we won, it just helped boost our confidence. And, you know, and you've been around this long enough to know at some point during the season, you have to have some significant wins to validate everything you've been working on. Obviously, that for this team, that was a huge, significant win. Maybe as big as you can get in the Big Ten Conference, to validate everything we've been training and working on, and like you know, that this is working for us.
You said they've been the team that teams have been chasing, and the national titles prove that. But your record versus Penn State of recent time would lead to believe that you've done pretty well chasing them. What do you attribute that to?
Well, we mentioned rivalries. You know, we have a lot of rivalries because a lot of teams are after us all the time too. But I just know this. I remember when I was coaching at Wisconsin, the Big Ten, Penn State was the team to beat. So everything you did was, okay, every decision you make, how are you going to beat Penn State? Then I come to Nebraska, you know, and we're dominating the last decade early, and winning, and we're beating Penn State, and then all of a sudden Penn State goes on a 4-year national championship run, and then it goes back to the same thing. Every decision we make in recruiting, how we train, what systems we're going to run, can we beat Penn State? And so they've been the measuring stick for us on how we build our program and how we look at it is, can we beat Penn State? Now that we're in the conference with them, it's the same thing, because look at who's won the Big Ten Conference. It's only a couple schools, and Penn State's won the most. So that's how we approach things.
Both today and earlier this week, you've used the word fun to describe matches against Penn State. What makes this series especially fun for you and for your team?
Amazing athletes, both really great traditional powerhouse teams, both teams play really high-level volleyball. It's just like, when you block Michaela Fecke, people get a little more excited. When you block Simone Lee, you get a little more excited. I mean, it's just because they're such competitors, they're such great players. So there's big moments, there's big plays, and highlight-type plays. And, of course, those guys are going to have highlight-type kills, which makes it more exciting. And just the intensity of them. Every time we play them, there's an intensity. And I told somebody earlier today or yesterday, I can't remember, but like when Penn State comes to Devaney, before the match even starts, the electricity in there is up a notch. And I know every time we go to Penn State, it's a white out, it's a black out, it's a blue out, it's something going on. I mean, they try to get a huge crowd there. So I just think it's great respect and for two great programs that have had a long history of great matches. And I think, you look at the NFL, same thing. There's just certain matchups when two teams play. The Steelers play, Cincinnati. I mean, it's just going to be a war. When I want to talk about the Chargers, but I don't even know what city they're in now. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about,
Any last questions for Coach?
Chargers will be here on Sunday, but they're this
really?
week. Yeah.
Okay.
So
what are they?
Saturday night,
California,
actually.
the Bolts. What
I think
are they
L.A.,
now?
but
yeah.
I
grew up
really
in San Diego. That's why I'm kidding about that.
Kevin Haskin, Topeka Capital Journal. Can you kind of go back in your recruitment of Jazz Sweet, what attracted you to her, and how has she developed to the point where she may have had what you call the point of the match against Kentucky?
Yeah, she. So we identified her probably her sophomore year, and we knew we needed an opposite or right side player that could come in and start as a freshman. So there was about 3 recruits that we were after. Of course, Jazz being from Topeka, close to Lincoln, we thought, okay, we got a really good shot at her. So, and we just felt like, our conversations in our office were, and Danny Busman was my assistant coach then, was like, we have to get Jazz Sweet. And she played on a club team that wasn't all that strong. They played in the they didn't play in the open division. So, it was hard to tell how good she could be, but we felt like she had a chance to be a special player. And, of course, if you're around Jazz, she never says a word until, she gets comfortable, and then she doesn't shut up. But so on the first couple visits and stuff, to get her up there, I mean, she was just didn't seem interested, wouldn't call us back, so we were worried. And then she came on a visit, and then I could tell she really liked it, and this is what she wanted. It was hard for her to turn down Kansas and Kansas State right there, but I think playing in Devaney and seeing that crowd was something that she wanted, and we were really happy to have her as a Husker. And I started telling her a year ago when she committed, I said, you need to start mentally preparing to play and start as a freshman. And I think she's really embraced that. The other thing I told her was that, freshmen always play the best in the NCAA tournament. I go, look at Franny, freshman year MVP, Michaela, freshman year MVP. I said, Jazz, freshman year MVP, let's do it.
Well, that's why I was curious.
The freshmen believe me. These guys, they don't listen to a word I say.
And I just kind of wondered how that played in with that big point, in that Kentucky match. So, and how she's gotten to be where she can do that sort of thing in such a clutch moment.
Yeah, we put her in a drill pretty much every day we go, not every day we go all out, but every day we have a full-on practice. She goes in a drill that she has to win. It's a tough drill. We call it the trash can drill. She's done it the most, but she goes in it, and she doesn't get out till she wins it. And it develops that mentality to make those big plays when it matters most.
It's time for one more question for Coach. Okay, Coach, thank you.
Okay.
Good luck tomorrow.
All right. Todd, you should be able to get a nap in today.
Thanks, Coach.